All right, so here is the Summit XM600, original E-Tec 600, and it's had V-Force 3, the original V-Force 3 reeds in it for 3 seasons, about 2,000 miles, and now we're going to replace those with the new V-Force 3R, because supposedly the original V-Force 3 chipped and cracked and the reeds broke real fast, and the 3R is supposed to prevent that. Now supposedly what makes the 3R special is there's a little bit of rubber in the contact areas so that the pedal doesn't slap against the plastic as hard and break the reed pedals or cause them to slowly crack over time. You can really vaguely see it. There's little tiny rubber molding points that you can see from the side on the new version that you can't really see on the old version. Other than that, big obvious difference is the new version has this air column separator that this one doesn't have that. You can see they both say V-Force 3 on the side. There's no R here to indicate it's the new model. The only other indications are the logo there, the Moto Tassinari logo. It's a little different. And that's kind of a white green plastic down there where it's black on the original V-Force 3. So they're not very different. But now the question is, what about the old 3-year-old V-Force reeds that supposedly crack and chip and are no good? Well, I've inspected these and I see absolutely no damage whatsoever. For 3 years, 2,000 miles, it looks like I didn't need to replace these. This is only one side, so we'll check the other side when I get there, but I think that the theory that these reeds fail quickly and shred and chip and go bad, I sure don't see that. And using a 600 as a mountain sled, trust me, this thing is pinned most of its life, and it works hard. So now, a lot of people think that upgrading your reeds won't do anything. If you're going to a better reed, you will get better performance. Let's take a look. Here is the stock 600 reed block. Now look at the obvious difference. Stock only has these 2 rows of pedals. V-Force has 4 rows of pedals. Faster response, quicker action, less opening and closing distance to allow the same air through. And moreover, when you put this in, the sled starts easier, runs better, pulls harder. It's an obvious upgrade going to V-Force. So if you have a sled that has, like the original 600, it has a cheap reed block like this, you're going to notice a major difference going to one of these. And then the other misconception I've heard about aftermarket reeds is on an E-Tec or any kind of direct injection or semi-direct injection, the idea is that because the gas doesn't come in through the carburetor and through the reeds, you're not gaining anything. It's only air. Well, again, that's a big misunderstanding of how 2-strokes work, because when the air gets sucked in from the intake, it compresses in the crankcase. And unlike a 4-stroke that's full of oil, right? Just air. This is an air chamber. And the piston comes down and compresses the air. So the more the air can get compressed, the more compression that gets then pushed up into the cylinder when you actually need it for piston compression. So especially at low and medium throttle speeds, a quicker and more responsive reed traps more air into the bottom end and therefore produces more compression in the top end at low and medium throttle speeds. At full throttle speeds, you probably don't see any difference from reeds. So if the only thing you're looking at is pinned performance, It's not much of a difference, if anything, but low and middle and the way it pulls up and responds quickly, this makes a huge difference. Installation is really straightforward and easy on this, except this one. This bolt right here is behind, it's kind of stuck right behind this chassis post, and you really have to do some finger gymnastics to really get it to move, unless you have a really special tool. It's a 5/32, and I certainly don't have a 5/32 ratcheting wrench or a socket wrench that would fit into that gap. So other than that, it's super straightforward, but this one's a pain. Okay, and so here is the mag side reed cage that I took out after 3 years, 2,000 miles. And once again, I'm sure it's hard to see on this video, but this idea that V-force reeds wear out after a year, well, not on this Ski-Doo 600 they didn't, and I rode this thing hard. So I'm upgrading to the new 3R, but for me, because they're supposedly more reliable, but for me the original V-Force 3 looks perfectly fine. Looks like I did not need to do this. But here we are, I'm doing it anyway.